Hello everyone, today is 16th of April, now it's 20 to 10 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for the day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There was no crucial changes on the line of contact in zone of special military operation and therefore I will start this update straight away with the media reportings about some other topics. RIA Novosti's report here, for example, that Russian armed forces conducted strike in Khmelnytsk region of Kiev-controlled territory of Ukraine, and the main target was airfield, military airfield that is used by Kiev regime, and was prepared to receive F-16 fighter jets. According to Russian partisans in their area, there was some secondary explosions and detonations in the airfield. Damage was quite significant. There was ambulances sent to the area of airfield, although no precise information on number of casualties among Kiev regime military personnel and exact damage that was done to the airfield. RT is also reporting that head of IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, surprisingly made a quite interesting statement that there is no heavy weapons at Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Rare occasion when this individual is saying something substantive and truthful. Of course, there is no Russian heavy weapons in Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. It was known forever. But still Kiev regime was shelling and continues to shell Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, and their explanation is that there is some heavy weapons of Russian armed forces in the vicinity of the plant, which is total nonsense, of course. RT is also reporting that US House Speaker to put Ukraine aid bill to a vote, according to media reports. So US House Speaker Mike Johnson has promised to finally advance the long stalled Ukraine aid bill sought by President Joe Biden. Multiple news outlets reported on Monday the proposed legislation has been stuck in the Congress for a month due to their bitter infight between Democrats and the Republicans. Well, no surprises here. I said many times before that the US military industrial complex will do whatever it takes and will use all its influence to make sure that they will receive this most likely last big paycheck from Ukrainian crisis, and that's exactly what is going to happen. I remind you that we are talking about some 61 billion US dollars, which will be allocated for Ukrainian terrorists and neo-Nazis by US lawmakers once they will vote for this bill. Although, of course, vast amount of that money will eventually end up on bank accounts of corrupt US officials and the military industrial complex. RT is also reporting that, well, Zelensky is demanding from the West Ukraine to be treated same way as Israel. He basically complained that collective West is not defending Ukraine in a way that they defend Israel during the recent Iranian retaliatory strike when US, UK, France were actively engaged in intercepting Iranian drones and missiles. Basically, Zelensky indirectly calling for third world war, demanding from NATO to get engaged in the conflict against Russia, directly engaged. Otherwise, NATO is already engaged. We all know that. RIA Novosti is also reporting that, well, official representative of White House, John Kirby, was asked why, exactly on this topic, why US is not defending Ukraine in the same way that US defended Israel. And the answer was that conflicts are very different and there is no comparison between the two and so on. So basically, John Kirby avoided direct answer because he cannot say that they don't care about Ukrainians, not at all. They will continue this proxy war against Russia until last Ukrainian standing. as simple as that. And I remind you, dear friends, that many high-ranking officials in the West, in Europe, in North America, openly are stating that prolongation of this proxy war against Russia, according to them, is good investments. So it is what it is. It is what it is. At this point, I have some doubts that Ukrainian society will ever understand that they have been played basically by the Western elites and been sacrificed for their geopolitical agenda. But you know, it is what it is. The newspaper is reporting that Poland is deploying additional forces to Ukrainian border, according to head of Polish Armed Forces, Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz. And well, this is quite interesting news because, as I said many times before, after this conflict will end, Ukraine will be divided between Russia and the NATO. And when I say NATO, of course, I mean Poland also, and most likely Poland will have a claim on at least 70-80% of Western Ukraine that used to be a part of Poland before Second World War, and to conduct rapid deployment of the forces into parts of Western Ukraine that used to belong to Poland. Of course, they have to have a quite a large contingent of their forces right next to the border, and this move can be seen as a preparation for inevitable occupation of the Western Ukraine by Poland, and with active support of other NATO member states, undoubtedly. RT is reporting that, well, according to media reports, Saudi Arabia also participates in shooting down Iranian drones. A royal source in Riyadh has criticized Tehran even for terrorism. And this is, by the way, media publications. I remind you that recently, due to mediation of the China, Saudi Arabia and Iran re-establish diplomatic ties, basically, and significantly improve their relationships. But Saudi Arabia still largely under heavy influence of the collective West, US and the UK, to be more precise. And I'm not at all surprised that Riyadh made decision to act on behalf of Israel in this crisis. But in any case, we all understand that Iran's retaliatory strike was a demonstration of force, demonstration that they can reach any point in Israel. This retaliatory strike task of it was not to harm as much as possible Israeli military personnel, but to demonstrate capabilities that Iran holds. And in this regard, this retaliatory strike definitely was a big success, a game changer in the region, I will even say. Vzгляд newspaper is reporting that, well, and this is quite disturbing news, by the way, that former Prime Minister of France, Manuel Valls, is stating that France might even use nuclear weapons against Iran and to protect Israel. And by the way, when I see these kind of statements being made by former high-ranking officials in the West, I definitely have more reasons to believe that the world is in deep trouble, because these crazies, man, I mean, it's institutionalized now in the West when mentally ill individuals are taking high-ranking positions, and we can all understand that these sick individuals are puppets in the hands of true rulers of the West. But still, by the way, at least formally, this type of people, these truly mentally ill, intellectually bankrupt individuals, are in charge, in high-ranking positions, even in nuclear powers, such as France. Of course, France is not as a serious nuclear power as Russia and US, but they still have like a couple of hundreds of nukes, so it's serious. And well, that's what this crazy is saying, man. That France, he did not exclude possibility that France will use nukes against Iran. Crazy. Even Israel did not say nothing like that, man. Although Israel is threatening with its own retaliation now. You know, RIA Novosti is reporting that, well, according to media reports, at least 9 Iranian missiles get through Israeli air defense systems and hit their targets. But yet again, I remind you, dear friends, that Iran shared information about through some third parties with US about direction of Iranian strike. US, of course, informed about it. Israel evacuated its personnel and I guess military equipment also, at least valid one, from the areas. And well, this strike was not conducted Iran to hurt Israel as much as possible, unethically, or to destroy military bases or to inflict heavy casualties on IDF forces. This was a pure demonstration of force and clear message that Iran will retaliate, that Iran has its own red lines and no one will be allowed to target Iran's soil, and the Iranian consulate in Damascus was, of course, Iran's soil. And we all know that Israel killed several high-ranking officials of Iran's military during the strike on the consulate. But fact itself that Iranian missiles get through this heavy air defense system that Israel has is quite important, especially if you take into account that Iran did not even use its most capable weapon systems, its most capable missiles. And as I just mentioned, Defense Minister of Israel, Yoav Gallant, had a phone call with Washington, and he said that Israel will, he promised that Israel will retaliate. And now, I guess, the entire world will wait when and how Israel will retaliate. Iran was quite clear that if there will be any strikes on Iran's interests and Iran's territory, Iran will strike back, and there can be no doubts about it. And well, it all depends now how Netanyahu's government will act in this case, and forces that really are in charge of the West, collective West. I have my take on the situation. I believe there are certain very powerful groups in the West that wants regional conflict in the Middle East to distract shipping in the Persian Gulf and the Hormuz Strait, to cut off China from Middle Eastern energy sources. Although at the same time there can be, and most likely are, groups, powerful groups in the collective West that are opposing this plan, and at this point probably there is some internal conflict among Western ruling class, which scenario to choose. And well, we will find out soon. RT is reporting that well, Macron, president of France, another disturbed individual on high-ranking position in the West, calling for isolation of Iran. I mean, this cannot be commented seriously. I mean, these idiots don't know even geography. These idiots don't know even basics in geography, in history, even in modern times. They don't understand what is going on in the world right now. After all, Iran is a member of BRICS. Iran is a BRICS member. So how Macron gonna isolate Iran? I mean, pure idiocy, by the way. I mean, imbecile. That's what Macron really is. RT is reporting that fire breaks out at the US munition factory. Quite interesting. US Army factory in Scranton, Pennsylvania, that specializes in artillery munition production caught fire on Monday afternoon, according to local media reports and eyewitnesses. And this plant was actively engaged in production of shells that then was sent to Kiev regime. So, well, I definitely don't feel sorry if that plant will be destroyed totally. Vzgled newspaper, let's hope there will be no casualties. That's a whole different story, but when it comes to manufacturing capacities of US military industrial complex, I don't think anybody outside of US or collective West will care even a bit if all of it will be destroyed, because it's evil force, by the way. US military industrial complex is clearly evil force on this planet. And Vzgled newspaper is reporting that the media is reporting about percentage of this F-35 5th-gen fighter jets that US has, percentage of planes that are ready, or at least partially ready for combat missions. And, well, first of all, interesting news that this program, F-35 program, will cost 1.5, little more than $1.5 trillion to US taxpayers until 2088, but this number will change dramatically, of course, double or triple, or maybe will increase even further than that. And right now, only by the way, 52% of F-35A planes are combat ready, and only, excuse me, I'm not gonna start recording this video again, so excuse me. So only 52% of F-35A planes are combat ready, and only 62% of F-35s that are operated by US Navy. Interesting. Most expensive planes in the world, and almost half of them are not combat capable. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, on this program of F-35 already been spent over $1 trillion US dollars. RT is reporting that UK could deport asylum seekers to ex-Soviet Republic, and you might be surprised to hear to which country. It's Armenia, by the way. It's Armenia. So Britain has entered the talks with Armenia to launch a migrant deportation scheme similar to London's controversial deal with Rwanda. The Times reported on Monday. Interesting. Armenia may receive some refugees from UK. Why not? Really? Why not? If that's the decision of Armenia's government, and that's what Armenian society wants, then I can only support them. I mean, just do it. RIA Novosti is reporting that there was a fight in Georgian parliament yesterday. I shared video and couple of posts about situation in Georgia on my Telegram channel, and well, as I predicted, Washington started using again its prostitutes in so-called political opposition in Georgia, and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, to destabilize situation in Georgia. And the reasoning is still this bill about foreign agents that the ruling party in Georgia wants to implement. Today, probably voting will take place on this bill. Probably, although yesterday provocations, entire series of provocations was conducted by the so-called opposition in Georgia, that is 100% controlled by Washington, by the way. 100%. They are all prostitutes, all of them. Every single one of them are prostitutes and dirty whores, and politically speaking, of course, although some of them probably are prostitutes in real life also. And well, towards the evening, there was a gathering of this so-called opposition and their supporters, brainwashed people basically, and there was some confrontation with the police, and dozens of people have been arrested. And well, they are promising to continue. They are promising to continue, and I'm afraid because Washington has a strong grab on Georgia, and they have their prostitutes, their assets, not just among the so-called opposition, but they have their people in Georgia's military. I have no doubts about it. They have their assets in the Georgian ruling party, and most likely in the government also, in secret services of Georgia. So therefore, I'm quite sure if Washington is determined to conduct regime change in Georgia right now and then sacrifice this republic by using it as a kind of second front against Russia, then which will devastate Georgia, by the way, and Georgia may end up in conflict not just with Russia but also with Armenia for different reasons, but may end up in conflict with Armenia also, and lose not just territory, not just lives and territories, but maybe even statehood. But it all depends on Washington at this point, because Georgian government is unwilling to really deal with these assets of the West, and then you can deal with their Western assets in one way. You have to neutralize them. You have to charge them and put them in prison for life. That's the only way. They are traitors, by the way. They are receiving money from foreign countries. They are working for these foreign countries. It's a treason, and Georgia don't have death sentence, and therefore they should be put in prison for life. It is what it is. But because current government of Georgia is playing with the West and not willing to do whatever it takes to protect society of Georgia and Georgia itself, then I'm afraid if Washington is really serious about regime change and then using Georgia as a second front against Russia, most likely they will succeed, and maybe now or maybe on autumn when so-called parliamentary elections going to take place. After that elections, we might see regime change in Georgia, and that will be beginning of the end of quite short story of independence of Georgia after Soviet Union collapsed. Well, and by the way, Zglad newspaper is also reporting that the so-called president of Georgia, Salome Zurabishvili, who is an asset of CIA, by the way, I mean straight up asset of CIA, no questions about that. She probably has some ties with French intelligence also, because she used to be diplomat in France. But she clearly acting on behalf of Washington. So she's an asset of CIA. Therefore, I'm not at all surprised that she's in support of these US assets that are acting as if they are politicians in Georgia or something like that. RT is reporting that UK won't seize Russian money, according to Political. UK might not actually confiscate Russia's immobilized assets, despite the political pledges to do so, because such a step would violate the rule of law and lead to a litany of legal quandaries, according to sanctions experts cited by Politico. Well, in an article on Monday, and London has blocked about 26 billion pound of Russian assets, which is 32.1 billion US dollars. And Politico is, I guess, mistaken, because what rule of law? When we are talking about UK, I mean, how you can put in same place UK and rule of law? I mean, is Julian Assange in UK in prison, or am I mistaken? What we are talking about here? I mean, let's be real. UK and rule of law? Really? Come on, man. And therefore, it's only a matter of time, by the way, and I believe they will steal Russian frozen assets. I don't think anybody in Russia has any doubts about it. And I don't think anybody in Russia has any expectations that Russia will receive these assets ever. It is what it is, man. Let's continue. And RT is reporting that, well, German leader backs open EU market for Chinese cars. Speaking in Shanghai, Olaf Scholz has said only pre-request is that competition must be fair. When Germany is in deep trouble, by the way, Germany's economy is in deep trouble, and Olaf Scholz went to China. Western media outlets, some of them at least, come up with the articles that Scholz is gonna put pressure on China to change its position in regards to Russia and Ukrainian conflict. And when I was seeing these reports, I was thinking, what the hell is wrong with you guys? What can Germany do to China? I mean, are you serious? One Chinese province is a bigger economy than Germany, man. Entire Germany. What you are talking about? Of course, Scholz went in China to, you know, to invite Chinese investors into Germany. But, well, after what Collective West did with Russian assets, by the way, I don't think it will work. Chinese investors are, I mean, very clever. That's why they become this powerful, this rich and powerful. And I don't think they have any doubts that China is next in a line of Western ruling class when it comes to countries that they want to destroy. China is basically number one enemy. China has been seen by Western ruling class as number one enemy. And Chinese leadership, Chinese business know this, and more they will invest in Collective West, more they will lose. It's simple as that. And I'm quite sure that China will not just not increase its investments in Collective West, but most likely Chinese business will start exactly the opposite, will start withdraw its investments in the Collective West. Process already has started, and furthermore, most likely China will further you know, prohibit Western companies to operate in China, so that these future enemies of China, future open enemies of China, will not make money on Chinese people. It's clear, by the way. I mean, Western ruling elites not even hiding that, you know, their main enemy, for them, main enemy is China. And everyone knows that. RT is reporting that BRICS should create alternative international monetary system, according to diplomat of the BRICS member state. And, well, this is the news that I'm waiting for, by the way. I'm talking about this topic for, I don't know, since forever, it seems like. And, well, now we have at least some indicators that work is definitely is done in this direction. It is vital for BRICS to create alternative international monetary system. The Ethiopian ambassador to Russia, Uham Ugalar Uriat, has told RT in an exclusive interview. Uriat stated that bloc's members should collaborate to enhance their economics and create a new alternative to their International Monetary Fund. The Shanghai-based New Development Bank, NDB, established by the BRICS states and opened for business in 2015, should be strengthened to that it can contribute to member states of BRICS, the ambassador argued. Uriat expressed confidence that this would enable their NDB to serve as alternative to their IMF and the World Bank. And, well, he is absolutely correct, by the way. And it's not just about this NDB or development, New Development Bank. It's about alternative to the SWIFT. It's about alternative to Western reserve currencies, world reserve currencies. And well, work is definitely done in this direction, and I expect we will hear some more and very interesting statements in regards to creating this alternative monetary system, alternative financial and banking system from the BRICS. Maybe before Kazan BRICS summit will take place, maybe after, or maybe during the summit itself. But in any case, it's, you know, I'm glad to know that leadership of BRICS member states are working in this direction, and I mean, everyone understands at this point that West is using Western monetary system, Western financial and banking system as a weapon against everybody they don't like, and therefore alternative needs to be created. It's just the objective reality that we are in. Alternative needs to be created, and only BRICS can come up with this alternative right now. And finally, I will share with you this information from Vzglyad that Roscosmos and NASA made the agreement to unify basically their, you know what, I'm gonna translate this because some technical stuff there. So Roscosmos and NASA plan to unify docking modules, yes, docking modules, so that even after the after cooperation between the sides will end, which is quite likely, both sides will have opportunity to help each other in a space in some emergency, in case of some emergency situations, if these docking modules will be unified. Well, quite interesting news, and same time depressing, I will say, because well, I guess both sides, by the way, Roscosmos and NASA is preparing for you know, inevitable at this point, I guess, because of the anti-Russian hysteria in the West, inevitable cut in relationships between the sides. although of course scientists being scientists, they are thinking ahead of their well, I guess are closing into an agreement that modules on Russian space programs, on space station, for example, on Western or US space station, modules will be unified, and therefore if there is any emergency and urgent need in assistance, then sites, astronauts, cosmonauts will be able to support each other and scientists from two countries. But it is sad that well, I guess everybody understands that at some point relationships will be destroyed between Russia and collective West, even in terms of cooperation in science. This is unfortunate, but that's what Western ruling class wants. That's the direction that Western ruling class is pushing collective West. At some point in the future, we will have a divided world when on one side is collective West and on the other side is entire world. That's how it's gonna be. It's already like that, although not yet formalized. And well, hopefully you will find this update informative, interesting and useful, and if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything, any topic. This is the only way we can influence algorithm, more likes and comments to reach wider audience. And for very same reason, if you can, please share links to my videos or my channels with your friends on any of the platforms that you're actively using. And finally, if you think this channel is deserves to exist, by the way, or at least this program on this channel, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Boosty, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. All the links are under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care.